Camille, leçons. This is a word that trips up a lot of my French friends. Call my agent, I feel like it's a bit of a fail. Aujourd'hui, on parle de Camille Cottin, l'agente préférée du pays. Exactement! Elle était apparemment prof d'anglais avant sa carrière d'actrice.
I would like him to be. Donc ça veut rien dire. Hein.
Je vais analyser son anglais pour essayer de voir si elle était une bonne prof d'anglais. Et restez jusqu'à la fin, on va noter la prof sur moi. Oui, on va noter la prof. Ça n'a aucun sens, mais on va le faire. I'm really sorry if you can hear my squeaky chair today. I will fix that. Okay, so apparently she spent 5 years in London as a teenager au lycée français Charles de Gaulle. Did that sound weird? Charles de Gaulle. Maybe I should have gone to that. Then I would be able to say Charles de Gaulle. It seems like she probably has a pretty good starting point, having spent some of her teenage years in London. Yeah, let's have a look. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
You look great. Am I saying your name correct? Is it Camille Cottin?
Again? No, I'm kidding.
Camille Cottin in America.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Was it perfect? She's very nice. It wasn't quite perfect, but it sounded good. Whatever. I'm going to stop here. Nothing to do, actually, with Camille. But I don't know if you heard Jimmy. He asked, am I saying your name correct?
Am I saying your name correct?
Instead of course, using the adverb correctly. Am I saying your name correctly? Yeah, I do get the feeling sometimes that adverbs are kind of going out of fashion, you know? Yeah, we've talked about it before on this channel with I'm doing good versus I'm doing well. Yeah, let's continue.
Camille Cottin.
Yeah, that's it. Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, I love Jimmy. Oh, I like that a lot. It's got a good ring to it. You have a lot of fans here because of the show Call My Agent.
Call My Agent. I always forget that 10% is called Call My Agent in English-speaking countries. Ever since I made this video, I've become really fascinated by movie title translations in other languages. But Call My Agent, yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a fail. I don't really like it. I don't really know what was wrong with 10%. Maybe in the US, agents take more than 10%. I don't know. What do you think of the title Call My Agent?
How does it feel though when you find out that it's that people are loving it over here? Is it fun?
I'm just starting to realize it, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Because being invited by you is like, oh yeah, so this is serious.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, okay. I'll share my first impressions of Camille's English. I think she's doing really, really well. Her flow is really natural. She has clearly more of an English influence in her pronunciation, and you can really see that difference, right, between Jimmy's American accent and the way that Camille is speaking. I did hear an intonation slip. This is a word that I think trips up a lot of my French friends. It is realize. And here, Camille, she said, realize.
Realize it.
All right, so this one, it is realize.
Yeah, we didn't know. We rapped and then there was the pandemic and then suddenly it's like, America loves you. And you're like, what? I mean, America, I just went to the supermarket this afternoon and they were really normal with me. So I think it's still a niche. You know?
No, people know.
Okay, great, right? So I think here we can really see, first of all, that Camille has a really nice vocabulary. I heard she said, for example, we rapped.
We rapped.
We finished up shooting, we rapped. And we can also feel more of that English or British influence in her English. She pronounced this word as niche.
Niche.
Which, as a French speaker, I'm sure you're thinking, évidemment. Well, no, because Americans pronounce this word as niche. And I have to admit, every time I hear it, I think, ugh, what? But yeah, that's just how they pronounce this word. So, niche or niche, whichever you like.
Did you get to hang out with Lady Gaga?
Oh, I wish I could, but she was really concentrate. So she was into her character.
You're supposed to be enemies in the
movie. Yeah, I'm her rival. I'm stealing her husband.
That's
so
right.
Obviously she doesn't really like me.
Yeah. She has a point, yeah.
She has a point.
Yeah.
But I have to say that she's really not like her character in life. So she was really concentrate. And then suddenly she came between 2 takes and she said, you're a beautiful woman, you're a lovely actress, and at the end of the movie we'll be friends. Now hush.
Okay, cute. All right, so we've heard a little bit about her experience filming the film House of Gucci, and she talked about Lady Gaga. She said that she was very concentrate.
Concentrate.
So here, I think what Camille wants to say is that elle était concentrée. We want the adjective concentrated. She was concentrated. But to be honest, we don't really use the adjective concentrated for a person. We use concentrated, for example, like for a liquid, or like this alcohol is really concentrated, it's strong. Or to say that there's a lot of something in one place, like the crowd was really concentrated in one area, but it's not to describe someone's state of being. For a person, it would be more accurate to say she was really focused. Careful, not focused. Focused, or to use the verb, she was concentrating on her role.
Your mom started a theater club?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was it like working for your mom?
She created a theater club. She had never acted, but she decided she would do this. And then she decided that she would create this piece. It's a bit like Troy, the movie with Brad Pitt.
Yes.
You know, so it's a French play. And I was given the part of Helen, the most beautiful woman of the world. So obviously it's because my mum was giving the
casting.
parts,
Yeah, I know the most beautiful girl is my daughter.
Yeah. And then, it was just incredible because the most handsome guy of the school just went to the theater club, which is unusual because normally you get the geek guys.
The jock.
Not the cool guys. And he was to be my lover in the play. So I was like, well, thank you, Mummy. My dream is coming true.
This is really great, right? I think this is such a great example of just how well Camille can express herself in English. Here, I heard 2 examples of the same little slip. So first of all, talking about her character in the play, Camille said that she would play the most beautiful woman of the world.
The most beautiful woman of the world.
And that the most handsome boy of the school was also in the play. So here I want to focus on this preposition of. We really would not use of in this case. Of is really more, I guess, for like possession. For example, the roof of the house. For this case, right, we've got these large places, right? The school, the world. We should use in. The most beautiful woman in the world. The most handsome boy in the school. But one sentence that Camille used here that really shows me just how advanced her English is and how well she understands some of the nuances is, he was to be my lover in the play. So here she has used the structure was to be.
And he was to be.
And what makes this so advanced or nuanced is that when we use was to be or were to be, it tells us about something that was planned in the past, almost something that was part of a greater set of plans. But it gives us this feeling that perhaps the plan didn't turn out as we might have hoped. Almost like a Shakespearean tragedy, you know, we kind of expecting there to be a however or a but. I'm getting a feeling that he was not her lover in the play. So let's have a look, let's see what happened.
And then we had to perform and he quit, like, I don't know, a week before. So she said, no, we will never find somebody to do it. So I'll do it. Mom was on stage with me.
Mom stepped in for him?
Yeah, and she was like, my princess, come and give me a kiss. And it was like...
I love that. That's a pro right there.
Okay, see, fantastic. So I think the way that Camille told this story was perfect, right? So in the end, she had to kiss her mum. Right. Let's watch another interview. But before we do, let's have a look at what people are saying. Camille le sent. Right. Elle parle anglais. She certainly does. C'est choquant que vous parlez si bien anglais. It is very good. She speaks very, very well. Ah, les French, et leur piètre anglais. Elle a été prof d'anglais. Yes, voilà. So we did know that. Seems like a lot of people are making sure that they reiterate that in the comments, that she was an English teacher. Another late night talk show across the pond. Let's see.
You made a show called Connasse.
Yes, absolutely. At the beginning, it was just a short show for TV. It was 1.5 minutes. And then the 2 creators of the show decided they would make a movie, like a 1.5 hour movie. And they said, okay, what could be the best desire for Connasse? And they said, well, marry the prince. Okay, which prince is the most glamorous to be married? Obviously, it was Harry because he was single at the time. So we went and hunted Harry.
I feel like she sounds more English in this interview. For example, where she said, absolutely.
Absolutely.
This absolutely sounded much more English to me. And of course, she's being interviewed on a late night show based in the UK with Graham Norton. And we talked about this in my previous video, this idea of code switching that many of us take on different accents or maybe have different mannerisms when we speak to different people. And there is a comment here, someone saying, just watched her speaking English to an American and she was trying an American accent. She seems to be doing some words in this interview more British. Yeah, I do agree. And that's probably her base, right? Her natural tendency is to go back towards that kind of English accent that she probably picked up from spending time in London. Here she talked about TV, but I heard the intonation as TV.
TV.
Maybe she's sort of taking this from la télé. Here we stress the second part, TV, on TV. And it was so interesting. I can't figure out what was it that sounded a bit strange when she talked about some duration. She said 1 minute and a half.
It was 1 minute and a half.
1 hour and a half.
1 hour and a half.
Is that a mistake though? It just sounded a little bit unnatural to me. Obviously, like no problems at all. Everyone can understand her. Yeah, I feel like it's much more natural to say 1.5 minutes or a 1.5 hour movie instead of 1 minute and a half or a 1 hour and a half movie.
They told me, okay, now you're going to climb the Kensington Palace fence and you're going to shout Harry and hope that he will hear you. And I did. Yeah. There was this little Bobby in his little cabin and he was really just in front of the fence. And I thought he would come immediately, but he couldn't hear me. So I literally stayed quite high, like about 5 minutes, which is very long when you're on the fence of Kensington Palace with high heels. And I was shouting, Harry!
Fantastic. Something that really stood out to me here, and it probably comes from the experience of having lived in the UK, is that Camille, she talked about a bobby.
There was this little Bobby.
A bobby is a slang word for referring to the police in London. So I believe it comes from like the name of the politician actually who originally sort of installed this law enforcement group. His name was Robert, and then over time his group of law enforcement, they became known by his nickname Bobby, so they are called bobbies. The fact that she has really used this word bobby, I think really shows us that she does have this background, right? She has spent time in London. I mean, for example, I've grown up watching a lot of police shows based in London on television. I've seen this word many, many times. I would still not naturally use the word bobby. So I think, yeah, it's really, okay, she does have this connection to London. What did I think? Well, you might not be surprised. I'm really impressed. I think she speaks English really, really well. I think she has near native-like proficiency. We saw how easily she can express herself spontaneously. She showed that she has some really nuanced understanding of grammar. She used fantastic vocabulary. There were a few little slips there with intonation that really made it clear to me that, you know, this is not a native English speaker, but she's really, really fantastic. So my grade for Camille, she really, really impressed me with her English, with her spontaneous interview English. My grade for her is an 18 out of 20. That's a bloody good score. What do you think Camille's grade should be? Let me know in the poll. I'll link it in the description. So I guess Camille can be happy to know that if she ever gets bored with her glamorous lifestyle as an actress, she can always go back to being an English teacher.
We would see you again next week.
C'est plus en faute, Rudy. C'est sans faute.
What a noble profession, am I right? Don't forget there's a free PDF with all of the points that I've discussed today. You can download it from the description. If you hate my videos, please don't subscribe. If you like them, great. If there's anyone else whose English you'd like me to analyze, please share your ideas in the comments and I'll see you again soon. Bye.